2. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Steelers Depot live stream. I am Alex Kozora. Joining me as always, Dave Bryan, SteelersDepot.com. And Dave, this stream is going to go one of two ways, either a funeral or a party, and it's a celebration today as the Pittsburgh Steelers defeated the Baltimore Ravens, an all-timer even by that rivalry standards, 26-24 on Sunday night. Pittsburgh wins the AFC North, will host the Houston Texans in the wildcard round on Monday night. So a ton to talk about today, a lot of good news, a lot of football still to discuss, and that's the ultimate goal this time of year. Dave, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. I believe we talked a little bit earlier today. No sleep. I think I got to fit in about a 20-minute nap since the podcast this morning. There's been one thing after the other today. Obviously, the Steelers had an open media session for the players today, or open locker room for the players today. So that's kept us busy there, along with several other things. But hey, it's we have plans now that the regular season has finished, and I don't know if a lot of people thought that might ultimately be the case after that loss to Buffalo several weeks ago, and especially after the loss to the Cleveland there back in week 17 as well. But here we are, by the good grace of the leg of Tyler Loop. The Steelers right now are in the playoffs and getting ready to play the I almost called them the Houston Oilers, the Houston Texans on Monday night there. You know, I think you got to go back to 86, the last time Pittsburgh played Houston in the playoffs. I believe that was a wild card game, and obviously at
Wasn't
the time,
it 89? Wasn't that Gary Anderson's 50-yarder?
Was it 89 or 86?
So chat can let us know. I know Anderson hit
maybe it was 89.
50-yarder in overtime to beat, I believe it was the Oilers in that 89 seasons that started off so poorly with blowout losses to the Browns and Bengals, and they rallied.
Yeah, I think you might be right. 86 was the year I graduated high school, so I think that was, I think you're right. It might be 89.
But, yeah, going to be a big test still, despite Pittsburgh having home field advantage and a really strong Monday Night Football track record at home, be it Three Rivers or Acrisure. So Dave and I are here till 8 p.m. Eastern time, answering as many Steelers questions as we can. If you guys could like the stream, check out the site, and also, of course, subscribe to the channel. Would appreciate that. If you want a guarantee of your question being asked and answered by Dave and myself, you can send us a super chat. You'll move to the front of the line. Not an obligation. Obviously, we just appreciate any and all super chats. And as you guys see on screen, just a piece of minor Steelers news just coming across. Pittsburgh officially receiving a roster exemption for DK Metcalf. This is standard after suspensions. It means he technically does not count against the 53-man roster. That will have to be removed for him to play in Monday's game. It will be. This is a temporary thing that is pretty standard. The Chargers just got one for linebacker Denzel Perryman as well. So Trey Flowers was waived today, the cornerback. That'll make room for Metcalf when that exemption expires.
Yeah, so technically, if they really hadn't waived Trey Flowers today, they could technically have a 54-man roster right now, but I guess they didn't want to have to pay Trey Flowers another week or another partial day or whatnot, so they went ahead and got him out of the building there today. So the roster technically sits at 52-man active roster, and then DK Metcalf had his suspension lifted today, and right now they technically have a roster exemption. Those usually only last about 48 hours, something like that.
Yeah, they're short.
So that's where they stand on him. The good news is he's back, and as long as he's in shape and ready to go, which he should be, and that's partly why they do it. They want to give teams a chance to evaluate the player coming off a suspension, being as how he wasn't around the team during the suspension. So that's why teams are given roster exemptions to evaluate the player and all like that. But yeah, he's going to be back, and man, he's going to be chomping at the bit to basically pay the team back, I guess, so to speak. Wasn't there for the final two regular season games, and he's going to be chomping at a bit to have a good game against the Houston Texans.
And Metcalf probably as happy as anybody to see Pittsburgh win that game and have some more football still to play. Chat, let us know, what were your thoughts late in that game? Did you feel confident Pittsburgh would pull it off? Did you feel Baltimore would complete the comeback? I didn't know how to react. I thought whenever Baltimore had that kickoff run back with 30 seconds left, whatever it was, to midfield, I thought game over. Baltimore's going to kick this one, go home, and break Pittsburgh's heart. And fortunate that did not happen. But let us know your reaction, chat, and we'll get to your questions right away. All right.
You were right. 1989,
Okay.
Oilers Steelers.
There
That was a
you
Gary
go.
Anderson game.
Got a couple questions. Let's start with Mike Adesso just saying, hey guys, Happy New Year and Happy Victory Monday. On to the playoffs, our first 2026 stream. So it's a good way to start things off. He says, Cam Hayward, that's it. That's the post. And Captain Cam played an all-time game last night, Dave.
Man, that was great. And I've been through a little bit more of the tape. I know you have as well since we talked this morning. And, man, him and Keanu Benton, man, what a great – was that Keanu Benton's best game?
Probably. I have to watch it some more. I mean, he's played some good games this year against the Colts, against the Vikings, but he also had that missed sack on Lamar, him and Highsmith. And had Pittsburgh lost that game, had Luke made that kick, we'd be talking about that play for a couple weeks.
Boy, he was on a tear right out of shoot, though. I mean, man, there was, 7 or 8 plays there, I think, early in that game that he was kind of impactful on. So good game by the defensive line as a whole. I thought in this one, but yeah, Cam Hayward, man, 7 total tackles for him, 7 total tackles for Keanu Benton as well too. And you hated to, obviously, all that would have meant absolutely nothing if that kick gets made at the end there. And obviously they got a lot to clean up on the back end with giving up those explosive plays though. But being as how they did one, we can sit here and praise the game that Keanu Benton and Cameron Hayward both had.
In the chat, generally, I think with our feeling of they were going to lose this game, although Mike Adesso says he was telling his friends that Loop was going to miss it. And so Mike spoke that into existence, and we appreciate that. But Jack Franco and Faceless Man and David, well, I think David said he thought that Pittsburgh would block the kick. So there was some optimism there, but it was a mixed bag and a lot of emotions going on last night. John Pennington, our friend John Pennington, says, hello, Dave and Alex. Great win. Do you guys think the Steelers should draft more physical linebackers in the draft, and should Queen be taken off the field in passing situations? Queen's the central communicator, the green dot wearer, highly paid. He's going to be on the field. We'll talk about that more when the offseason occurs, and hopefully it does not occur for at least a couple more weeks. But yeah, I think Peyton Wilson will be an interesting conversation point. Played 11 snaps last night, not really used in those rundown packages. Malik Harrison subs in, and you can't play the run in Pittsburgh. You kind of wonder about what that future tells you. So we'll have that conversation about Peyton Wilson, I'm sure.
I guess just to give some sort of an answer to that question, if you look at Cole Holcomb, who else is on the roster? Malik Harrison, Peyton Wilson, Patrick Queen. Who else is inside?
Carson Bruner, the rookie.
Yeah, Carson Bruner. I could see them spending a mid to later round draft pick on another inside linebacker.
What is Harrison's contract situation? He signed a 2-year deal, right? 2 years, $10 million. He'll be back. It's hard to think they're going to spend a significant capital when you have 3 guys there in Wilson, Queen, Harrison under contract, plus Bruner on special teams. I don't find that to be likely unless it's late round. I
think mid to late round. I could see it happening.
Okay, but again, we'll talk about that when the offseason comes. Dorkman251 says, what is the leverage penalty, and should a penalty have been called on the missed field goal? You look at the play, Ben Skowronek leaping over, just put his hand on the back of the long snapper. I don't see that as leverage. He's coming down when that occurs. It's so minor. To call that in that moment, I think would have been a pretty absurd call. To me, that's clean.
I can see where there's fuss about it, but it doesn't look egregious to me.
He's not leveraging in the sense of he's trying to use him to propel himself up. It's just instinctually, as Skowronek is falling down and coming down, that he puts his hand on his back. And you can't call leveraging for putting a hand on the back of the snapper as you're going down. Had he, leveraged and put his hand on him as he leapt into the air, okay, you could probably make a good case for it. But I don't see it. I don't think you could call that there in that moment.
What day is Gene
Steratore?
Steratore on DV? Is that tomorrow?
I feel like he's been on less this year, but I just haven't followed it as much, maybe because there's been a couple fewer controversial calls, but I think tomorrow.
All right. Maybe he'll be asked about that because there's been a little bit of buzz floating around, obviously from both sides. And who was the one that brought it up? McCourty.
Then Lamar Jackson responded to it, shaking his head. Ravens fans can't blame refs though for this. And if you want to play the game of missed calls, we didn't talk about it on the podcast, that roughing the passer on Y.A. Black after being tripped, a missed call. So we'll wash that out.
All right.
Super chat here from Pierre Miller Realtor with a bunch of other letters and numbers. $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Pierre. He says, my pie in the sky daydream will continue. Steelers win in typical heart palpitating fashion, I should say. Beat the Texans, avenge Bills, knock off Chargers, then beat the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. So he's got it all mapped out.
He's got it all planned out.
He's got the Chargers going to the AFC title game, which means I guess the AFC title game would also get played in Pittsburgh, and then a rematch of Super Bowl XL. So from, again, your words to the football god's ears, go talk to that priest and tell him to give a couple blessings whenever I assume he puts some holy water on the field come Monday night.
I'm guessing that Father Max is gonna be back out there on Sunday, right? Or Monday.
I think that's his job now. He's less of a priest and more of ground screw at Acrisure. If Pittsburgh were to win this game, I don't think we would obviously know who Pittsburgh would play in the divisional round. Is that fair? It could be a couple different teams.
Well, we would know by Monday. We would know by Monday
that's
night.
Fair. Oh, yeah. But I'm saying, like, as of right now, we really can't map it out. Now, Pierre is saying the Bills. So they are what seed are the Bills? The 6th seed? They're the 6th seed, correct?
Are they the 6th or the 7th?
No, because I think the Chargers are the 7. And Houston is 5.
Let me see. No, the Bills are the 6th. The Chargers are the 7th. So the only way... I mean, there's no way that Pittsburgh could play
Buffalo,
the Bills or Chargers, right?
I guess technically you could play the Chargers at some point if they just keep winning. I don't know if there's a way to play the Bills in the divisional round. I have not done the math on everything, but I don't think, because the Bills will be playing probably the highest seed left, and that would be probably Denver at the least with their 1 seed. So I don't think you can play the Bills in the divisional, but somebody can correct me. I've not mapped it out.
Let's see. Who does New England get this week? They get Buffalo, right? No. No, they get the Chargers.
Yeah.
All right. Jacksonville gets Buffalo. So if I don't, my head hurts to try to do all that math right now.
Let's not go down this rabbit hole. Abraham's saying if Buffalo and the Chargers win, then we would host Buffalo in the divisional. So maybe it is possible, but that would also take the Chargers upsetting the Patriots, which means Pittsburgh, obviously. Well, I guess that would mean that you could play the Chargers in the AFC title game. All right, we'll find out. We'll see if it's correct. Let's move on here. Thank you again for the super chat, Pierre. Got some happy victory Mondays from Marjorie Geyer is here, so appreciate that. Always shouts out our beat writer on the podcast, so thank you for hanging out with us. Be sure to like this stream for everybody. Get as many Steeler fans as possible into the chat. Knight Rider says, home field advantage. There's no reason they can't win a playoff game this year. If not now, then when? The playoffs are wide open. All teams can be beaten on any given day. If Tomlin fails, move on. It is wide open, and you feel like you have a good... I feel like this roster is as good to win a playoff game as any, but Houston's certainly going to be a tough team.
Absolutely. And I tell you, the defense obviously is what scares you the most. And we talked just a tiny bit ahead about that on the podcast today, and those edge rushers. Here's one good thing is the Steelers are used to getting the ball out quick this year, right? So it's not like it's going to be something new to them when it comes to facing that defense. And you're going to have a choice. And what's the weather going to be? Houston obviously is more of a warm weather team, and they play in a building that has a roof and more climate control. So might the weather kind of play a factor in this one as well too when it comes to their offense. But if ever, we talked about this ahead of the Steelers even making playoffs. If ever there was a year with this AFC where you could legitimately now, with these 7 teams that are in the playoffs right now on the AFC side, you could probably make a legitimate argument for every one of the 7 or 2 of the 7 to get to the AFC championship game.
Yeah, there is no clear favorite. There are a lot of franchise quarterbacks at home. Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, obviously nursing the torn ACL he's going to rehab from. Buffalo has your franchise quarterback, your elite quarterback, but the Bills roster is not as strong as past years. The defense is not as good. The weapons offensively might not be as attractive. Now, of course, Buffalo steamrolled Pittsburgh in Week 13, so it'll be a tough game if Pittsburgh saw them again, but this thing is pretty open, no question about it. All right, got some super chats I want to get through. We got a $10 one from J-Dub Akron. Thank you so much. He says, rabbit hole thought, in hindsight, it was good. Those timeouts were burned. Imagine Tomlin having one to ice the kicker. He misses, gets a second chance and makes it. A whole different vibe in the nation. Yeah, all is well that ends well. It was frustrating to see Rodgers have to burn those some weird, badly timed communication issues, but I guess it did kind of work out.
Yeah, what if he went to ice him right there and he went ahead and kicked it and then missed that one, and then the kick didn't count because he was iced, and your mind kind of wanders 80 different directions. But the fact of the matter is, the one that he attempted missed. End of story.
Yep. There you go.
We're on to Houston.
All right, Belichick. There was a good clip from, I think, Inside the NFL that missed kick by Loop, and you can see how low he hits it. Luke talked about he hit it thin, he hit it too low, and you can kind of see him really catch almost like grass on that kick, and that's why that thing sailed so wide to the right.
If he kicks that same kick 50 times, how many does he miss?
Probably all 50. Or in terms of making all 50, though he won't miss all 50. Yeah, it's because I think he had not missed a kick under 50 yards all year. I think his misses were all 50 plus. So.
And Mike Tomlin said that. Did you see the NFL film? He said he was like what 1 of 4 from plus 50.
Yep, and I think he was perfect from under 50 this season, I believe, and that was the miss, and he'll have to live with that this offseason. Good kicker. It's unfortunate.
That's some divine intervention right there.
There you go. Got a $10 super chat from DS Putt. Thank you so much. He says, as always, love your guys' stuff. I've been a big Dylan Cook fan since his first good camp. Do you think this ascension precludes them from drafting a tackle? Yeah, I don't think they're going to draft a tackle. You got Broderick Jones. I mean, his neck injury is murky, but assuming that it's not going to impact 2026 in a large way, then you got Jones, you got Fautanu, Cook under contract, Calvin Anderson under contract, though coming off the knee injury. I don't think you're drafting a tackle.
I tell you what, Dylan Cook's not going anywhere anytime soon. He's played some good ball. You go through that tape. Did you see that trap that he did on Kyle Van Noy on the on the screen to the right?
No, I didn't.
Jalen Warren. I put that up. Scroll through it should be kind of near the top of my timeline there. It's not really a true snatch trap, but he trapped him nonetheless. Kyle Van Noy, and then flopped on top of him on that one. I have to let me see if I can send you the link while you're on here to have you look at it.
I can't look at it because I got to click
right.
around, and your screen is our screen, or my screen's our screen right now. But I'll look at it after. And I mean, Cook's played well. Big test against Houston. Obviously, he's going to face some really high-end rushers, and I assume it's going to have to mean a lot of chippers. And will that limit Kenneth Gainwell? It's certainly going to be a factor. Of course, you can hopefully offset that to a degree by getting DK Metcalf back, but you're going to have to probably be back on chip duty to slow down Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson.
I think he's around 270 snaps or so now since coming in. Let's see, how many is it? 291. He's played 291 snaps, and he had 0 going into career going into this year.
He's been really good, really impressive. It's certainly going to be a conversation come the offseason. We got Tim Rice, our photographer for Steelers Depot, bunch of chats in here celebrating a victory Monday. And Pittsburgh actually has Tuesday and Wednesday off. They came to the building on Monday, no practice, but they were in the building for film study and meetings, and they will not be back until Thursday because of the Monday game. So thank you, Tim, for hanging out with us. And Gary V says, been a fan for 66 years, got to be one of the top 10 games. It's up there. I mean, it is certainly up there. Let's see, what else do we have here? John James, the miracle was the headset situation, wasting our timeouts. I think it's kind of the same comment from the super chat about if you iced him, what would have happened there. So yeah, It did work out. David is thanking me for picking Baltimore. Just doing my job over here, my duty, so no problem. Can you run through the players on IR that could be designated to return for the playoffs at any point? It's a pretty thin list, Dave.
Very small.
Go ahead.
I think I ran through. Obviously, one of the who's the fourth quarterback now?
Skylar Thompson.
Yeah, we just don't know the real nature. The nature of that. What he was dealing with, you have to think he's healed by now, but I mean, it's like it's not imperative to get him back. And who did I list as? I thought there was two that I ran
Isaiah
through.
Loudermilk.
That was the other one there. So it would make sense to go if he's healthy. What was it with him? An ankle?
High ankle sprain against Seattle.
Yeah. So I suppose you could have his window open tomorrow or Wednesday.
Yeah, you could. I feel like he's probably been healthy for a little bit now. It was a high ankle sprain, a pretty serious injury, but that was 3 months ago, whatever it was, September. So I imagine he's pretty much healed. I don't think Pittsburgh's going to have an appetite to do anything, but I guess they could. And then Deshaun Elliott technically could come back, but he called himself out for the season, so I don't think that's going to be a scenario. Maybe on a Super Bowl type run. Talk about him, and Darnell Washington literally could not come back until the Super Bowl because he's got to miss 3 more games being on IR.
All right, let's see. Daniel Quali's out for this. I mean, that's a serious injury. Yeah. He's not coming back. Dean Lowry, that was a serious injury. He's not coming back. Loudermilk, maybe. Donald Parham Jr., that was a serious injury. He's not coming back. Obviously, Darnell Washington's got to miss 3 more games before he can come back. It doesn't. The prospects on Broderick Jones in that neck obviously don't sound great. I think that Calvin Anderson injury was serious enough that probably we're not going to see him. Max Sharping, that was a severe injury. Dante Kent, that window opened and then closed. Miles Killebrew, that's a serious injury. He's not coming back from that this year. Corey Trice Jr. had his window open and closed. Deshaun Elliott, it doesn't sound like he's gonna. That was serious enough that he's not healthy, going to be healthy enough to practice. And then Skylar Thompson was the other one there. So I think the two, if any, were to get their windows open, it would be Skylar Thompson and Isaiah Loudermilk.
Yeah, we'll see if anything happens. I guess it'd be by Thursday when the team practices, but not expecting it right now. Got a $10 super chat from the Steelers 4190 who says, guys, the last 5 playoff games were 0-5. We've given up 175 yards on the ground per game in those losses. What does this team need to do to be better in that regard come playoff football? What do you think, Dave?
In the pass game and a run game? Just
overall, I think was the question. He mentions the run game production and the poor run defense, but what does this team have to do to basically right the wrongs of the last 5 playoff games?
Well, here's the good thing. You don't have to face Derrick Henry anymore, for starters. And the other real, obviously there's some good backs that they could potentially play, with Cook being one of them. We all know what he did a couple weeks ago like that. And they did settle down after. If you look at what Derrick Henry did, it was essentially 3 runs, I think, that totaled up 70-something yards, and the other 50 on, what do we say, that was 17 carries or something like that. They did a good job on that. They just need to have the gap integrity like they did most of the game overall against Baltimore. And I'm at this point right now, I'm less concerned about the run defense than I am the pass defense, because you had the kind of bust that you had. And, going back through that all 22 yesterday, that last big touchdown that they gave up in that game, it seems like that. It feels like Kyle Duggar might have been to blame for that one. That was the one where they come out of the huddle real quick and did the fake toss to the right and caught him. Duggar did not come back onto the field after that play. That Chuck Clark finished it out. We were talking this morning about where did the Chuck Clark snaps come from? A handful of them came in that final possession there, because I don't believe Duggar was on the field for any of that.
Yeah, I don't think he was. They were rotating before that point, but point taken. I think Duggars in that game was more viewed as the rundown guy, and Clark a little more as the pass down guy playing free safety. Excuse me.
It was not a great game. It was the worst game Duggars had since he'd been with the Steelers.
I mean, none of the safeties played well. Ramsey, I think, his worst game probably since of the season, and Duggar as well. So what does Pittsburgh have to do? I mean, I think this roster's turned over so much, it's hard to look at the last 5 games and be able to compare that too much because the rosters have changed so much, and especially at quarterback. I think just big picture, I know Mike Tomlin talks about that starts don't define you, but Pittsburgh's been outscored. What's the total in the first quarter of these games? It's a horribly lopsided number in favor of the opposition, so don't get down multiple scores early when you kind of feel a little tighter and you get away from your game plan. So I think a faster start, not that you have to race out 14-0, wouldn't be mad if they did, but just don't go down 14-0 is kind of a good place to make sure you stay in this game the whole way through.
Do you know how lopsided it is in the first quarter? I've got it right here. You
can
care to guess?
I had the stat. I think I was the one that talked about the stat a couple years ago. It's horrible. It's like 90-14 or something.
All right, now this year it's not as bad, believe it or not, in the first quarter. 67-68, if you can believe that, in the first quarter. The second quarter is where it gets off kilter.
Okay.
And the fourth quarter too. 128. The Steelers outscored their opponents 128-85 in the second quarter, but they've been outscored in the fourth quarter 174-132.
Yeah, now what I was referencing was the first quarter score. Those playoff losses and whatever that total is horribly against Pittsburgh, and so that obviously can't happen again. Pittsburgh has been a better first quarter team this year. I know that stat about them not scoring more than 7 points in a quarter is extended for 3 full seasons plus now, but they have been a better first quarter team than they were the last couple of years, I would think. All right, let's see what else we have here in the question machine. Let's see what we got here. And apologize, I'm like holding back that cough still. It's just that last cough that never wants to go away.
We need to get you some cough drops or something.
I need to get. You would think I would get some by now, but I just don't have the foresight to do that. Do you think the second wide open play by Flowers was an illegal pick? I don't think so. I don't think there was any evidence of a pick on that play. Did you?
No, I don't.
It was just a lot of confusion. Pittsburgh was trying to be in their overfront, which they do on third and short situations. They did that earlier in the game, and they were late to a line, and the Ravens came out with a really good formation. They were unbalanced with Ronnie Stanley standing up on the right side, so it really, I think, created some chaos to Pittsburgh that led to that clearly busted coverage.
Uh-huh.
All right, what else do we got here? We got Tim says, would you rather have Aaron Rodgers back or Malik Willis for about 2 years or $30 million? So, Dave, your thoughts?
I mean, the biggest drawback, once again, we talked about Malik Harris a couple of shows ago, I think. The thing is he's got so few snaps at this point, so few. You better hit your cough button again.
Oh, can you guys hear that? I'm sorry. I thought I was muted.
Yeah.
I didn't know which was muted and not. So very sorry. Go ahead, Dave.
The thing with Malik Willis is you still are dealing with such a small sample size overall as far as real NFL snaps that he's taken, and specifically now look, he's been very good in Green Bay in the time that he's there, and then you also have to look at it as what have they done specifically that have that's helped kind of unlock him and all, and are you sure that you can carry that over to the Steelers as well too? Look, if Aaron Rodgers, here's the thing, can you, if you got Aaron Rodgers another target, could you expect could you expect a better season out of Aaron Rodgers with more targets on this team? I suppose so, but how much better are we talking about? Because pretty much he is what he is at this point. All that's to say, I guess, is that if Aaron, depending on what the other options are, I'd rather go with the devil that I know, especially because what's played such a big part in his success with having Aaron Rodgers is all that experience that he has. So I guess if I was pushed for an answer right now today and not knowing what other options are out there and assuming Aaron Rodgers was willing to come back, and if he was to play for about the same amount of money again, I could be easily pushed into, bring him back for one more year.
I would too, and I like Malik Willis. I like really the allure of the quarterback mobility that's really been non-existent, although Rodgers had the 20-yard run yesterday. But
you gonna make it, bud?
I don't think I am. I think my voice is a little bit gone from last night. I don't often yell at the TV. I was screaming last night. I don't know what your posture was, Dave, but I was not at the beginning of the game, but at the end of the game, I was losing my mind.
Yeah, I did. I got more work. Believe it or not, I got more worked up at the end of that damn Cleveland game.
Did you?
Yeah. Remember, I told you that. Normally, I really keep that objective. Don't. It's what I do now, and I've done it so long that I don't get as tied up in the fan side of it as much as I used to. Now, I was pretty aggravated at the end of that Cleveland game. I was pretty much once that kickoff got run back, I was resigned to the fact that. Well, it all started, I guess, when Boswell missed the extra point. I was like, "Oh God, are they gonna? This is how it's gonna happen right here." And then once the kickoff came back as far as it did, I said, "Yep, that's this is a story that they did all that. They come back, they scored a couple of touchdowns right after Baltimore had scored. They did all that, and then now their special teams is going to let them down, and they're going to kick the field goal to win it. But no, I was not screaming at the TV like you were. I
was, and for those who don't listen to the podcast, just took in a stray cat, and she's downstairs and probably is even more scared than usual after hearing me screaming at my television. Not to derail on the Rodgers-Willis topic, but there's some commenters, and Ross McCorkle said in our chat, ESPN is reporting that the Boswell extra point was actually blocked. Have you gone back and looked at that?
No, I have not.
We'll need to investigate if somebody got a hand on that. It looked like it just moved to the right organically, so that is something certainly worth watching if that could provide an explanation of why that kick missed.
I've got the end zone view of it up right now, and it's kind of hard to even... Let me see if I can get it to stop at a certain frame here to see.
You're on the All-22?
Yeah.
Okay, the TV tape might be clearer with a higher quality picture. I don't know if there's a good replay of that.
I can't tell.
Is it close? Is someone's hands look close?
Yeah, it looks close.
Okay.
I'll have to look at the TV tape. I don't have the TV tape pulled up right now. I got the All-22 pulled up.
But with Willis and Rodgers, the mobility is attractive for Willis, but 89 pass attempts in 2 years with Green Bay is hard to get past.
Mm-hmm.
And all the intangibles Rodgers brings and the arm talent's still there. It's hard to go away from that whenever it's a guy with a lot of unknowns still in Malik Willis. Not to make this such a rabbit hole for offseason conversation, but you're right. This team will be looking for another target as they need to. But how do they acquire that receiver? I think there's a conundrum there.
Well, I think I think you look in a kind of a mid-level guy, a route runner. More of someone that can run kind of the whole tree for you, more like a kind of a Deontay Johnson type, maybe a little bit bigger in free agency, sort of a mid-level guy that way. You need to throw a lot of mud at it. So you need to go probably one in free agency and you probably two in the draft.
Well, here's my issue. This is the conundrum. If you go through the draft, Aaron Rodgers does not work well with rookies. Like, that's pretty well documented throughout his career, and as evident by Roman Wilson having almost no involvement this year, Rodgers really expressing a preference for veterans and what they offer. So a high draft pick, what is that contribution going to be? You can go with the veteran route, but who wants to come to Pittsburgh to catch 30 balls?
True.
And so I think that's where you're going to have an issue of which is the right path to get that target.
Look, I don't expect him to go out and get a $30 million guy, but
I know.
Uh,
But who wants to be a number two? If Arthur Smith is the OC and you're going to catch about 35 passes in this offense, the ball spread around, not going to get a lot of involvement. Pittsburgh traded George Pickens really for that reason. It's a tough sell for a free agent.
Sure.
Don't want to go play and make up a team. Green Bay, they don't need a receiver. Some enter team here with a bigger passing game that gets our receivers the ball more. I think it could be an issue. So again, off-season fodder.
And what is what's going to be the deal with Roman Wilson in year 3?
It's not looking good.
No.
If Rodgers returns, especially. Bryan, Tolini, Porter following Nico Collins, Texas #1 receiver. They've not shadowed a ton this year. I don't know if that's the expectation.
Yeah, I don't know either about that. They primarily lately been playing sides, so it's definitely plausible. I mean,
We'll see.
We have seen Porter travel some,
but not a ton. Less probably than expected, especially once Ramsey went to safety. There's also some other good receivers of Noel and Higgins, the rookies over there too. Jack Franco says, excuse me, in your view, how viable is this Ravens nucleus long term? I thought I'd be holding my breath every year that they would not win a Super Bowl for the next 5 years, at least. Is their core melting? We'll see. They are certainly an underachieving team, Dave.
Let me look at their free agency class real quick this year for the Ravens. Who all is up as far as free agents for he said the Ravens, right?
Yeah. I mean, hey, the questions are Harbaugh, Lamar. They're under contract, obviously, but what are their statuses, the core? What does that look like?
All right. Well, first and forebmost, I'll still be surprised if something happens to Harbaugh or Jackson. It feels like those two are going to be there in 2026. Alohi Gilman is an unrestricted free agent. Draymond Jones is a unrestricted free agent. Who else is unrestricted for them? DeAndre Hopkins, he's probably going to call it quits. Isaiah Likely, probably going to go to somewhere else during the offseason. Who else sticks out here?
Probably goes to KC if Kelsey retires.
Ricard is an unrestricted free agent. Linderbaum, they'll get him locked back up, you'd have to think.
No, they declined the option on him, but it's an interesting situation there.
Yeah, I think that. Really, there's not a lot of super notable unrestricted free agents. That Falele is unrestricted, but
might be subtraction or addition by subtraction.
Yeah, that might be somebody that you just don't trip over to try to re-sign there either. So they Ojabu, but he has he's kind of been of a disappointment. But it looks like Ricard and Van Noy's another year older. He's probably going to retire, right? He's done now.
I don't know his status in terms of what his heart is, but it was a down year for Van Noy. So I don't know. I mean, they've underachieved. They've not gotten over the hump. They've probably done less with more. And there's some questions. I think Lamar comes back. I'm confident in that. Harbaugh, I think, comes back. I'm less confident in that compared to Lamar. So we'll see.
Okay.
All right. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, check out the site, SteelersDepot.com. Mike Adesso says... With this
y'all send some home remedies for Alex and his cough. You know what my old man used to do? He used to take whiskey and honey.
Right, I'll get that bottle of whiskey that I have, and we'll have a Merry Christmas. Let's see, Mike Odessa with the playoff game being on Monday night and Steelers' great run on Monday nights and C.J. Stroud not being a top 5 quarterback. Does this team seem like its first realistic chance to win since 21? Yeah, it's probably a fair assessment. It's certainly going to be a fight, and Houston has the #1 defense and a great pass rush, but it feels like this team has a better chance than recent years, absolutely.
I don't know. You remember a couple of years back when they were facing Jacksonville, thinking and that busted up offensive line that Jacksonville had. Now that was a year too that they were trying to replace Shazier, weren't they? That was that the year they were trying
17. No, I mean he's saying since 21.
Since 21.
I would say really since 20. The Browns COVID game was the last time he felt like Pittsburgh was going to be had a really good chance to win. Obviously they didn't, but. I would say since then, that's probably been the best, because, I mean, the 21 game was against Mahomes, and then you had Allen, and then, the collapse of last year. So I think this is the best chance since 21.
I would agree.
But it won't be easy. There's no question about that. Are the Steelers the last North team to win a Super Bowl? No, the Ravens did it. Last. Correct, Dave?
Yeah, the Ravens did it last.
Yeah, because the Ravens won the Super Bowl after Pittsburgh. So they are the last North team. The Bengals went, and they lost. And, and the Browns are the Browns. What else do we got here? About 20 minutes left. Let's see. I thought the Highsmith missed sack was game. Yeah, that was, man, a lot of gut punches in this one, but they won. Why does Danny Smith not just tell Boz to kick it out of the end zone? Second time this season, they let a team back in with that because the ball's to the 35. And Baltimore had all 3 timeouts, and you can't give him the ball there. So I'm fine with letting the return happen.
Baltimore won the Super Bowl February 3rd, 2013.
Okay, are you fine with the return there, Dave?
Yeah, because once again, you don't want to give them the extra yardage on a touchback or anything.
And the coverage team's been really good this season, so it just wilted at a bad time.
Mm-hmm. Worst time, and that was the longest one day given up this year, right? Kickoff return.
I'm like 98% sure. I didn't research it, but just gut check, I believe so.
Let me see if I can get that on the fly here real quick here.
While you do that, we got a super chat in from Papa Trucka. I think he was here last time. $10. Thank you so much. Says, what a game. The game took 5 years off my life. So glad we've extended season, an opportunity to compete in the tournament. Thank you, Steelers Depot team, for all that Ians do. Appreciate that. Appreciate the super chat. You hanging out with us. Papa Trucka.
All right. How long was that kickoff yet last night? 41?
I have to look it up. It was thereabouts.
Because 41's their long that they've given up. That had to be it. Do you know what the Steelers' longest kickoff return of their own is this year?
I think 37.
You are correct, sir, by Williams.
The game will return, I think, would have beat it. It had that Peppers hold not occur on the backside of that play. So that was, special teams, not so special. Let's see, 15 minutes left.
Are you going to make it?
I am questionable, doubtful to make it. If you want to read a question, Dave, if you have the chat pulled up, feel free. Do you want to play more
where are you at it? Where are you at in this?
You can pick anywhere kind of halfway down or start from the bottom and scroll up. Apologize. It's I feel fine. It's just that cough, that laugh. You should see my videos I'm doing. It's taking like 20 minutes to do a 5-minute video because it's just Alex coughing the whole time. So,
all right, let me give it a go here. This one from Desmond Barnes 2220. Hi guys, hate to be a Desmond Downer. Maybe he means Debbie Downer, but what will it take for Tomlin and the Steelers to part ways? Yeah, hope you got a little time. Look, there's all this, there's been these several reports, obviously, the last several weeks, and specifically since the Buffalo game about, we now have almost everybody in unison, from Glazier to Schefter to Ian Rappaport, all saying now that no way that the Steelers are going to fire Mike Tomlin. And I believe that to be true. But they are trying to leave their back door open by saying now there's always a chance that Mike Tomlin could leave and get into TV and all like that. But look, if you go back to 2023, it was like a June or a July interview, I think, Mike Tomlin on the Rich Eisen show. He was pretty emphatic that he wants nothing to do with TV. Now, unless Mike Tomlin has changed his tune in a matter of 18 months or whatever that time frame is, I can't see it. Now, other than that, if Mike Tomlin just wanted to take a year out off of coaching and then get back into it, recharge his batteries or whatnot, maybe that. But Mike Tomlin loves this stuff too much, man. I mean, he loves this stuff too much, and they're not going. It doesn't feel like they're going to fight. Even Houston could come to Pittsburgh on Monday night and just blow them out. And I don't think anything gets done there. So all I can tell you, Desmond Barnes, is don't hold your breath waiting for anything to happen with Tomlin, at least this offseason. And it feels like he's going to have his option more than likely picked up this offseason for what year would that be? 2026? 7, right?
Yeah, for 27.
All right. Mike Adesso says, "Hey, they came out firing against the Chiefs years ago when Watt got a TD, just couldn't hang on. Yeah, that was that quick touchdown, but Patrick Mahomes and company took over there. They're saying they couldn't hear the cough. Let me tell you, he's got it pretty bad, folks, and he's had it pretty bad. We need to start getting him to save his voice here."
There's a question from David Kapoor. Do you agree with the early decision to go for it on 4th down? I assume that's the end of the half. Well, I don't know if that's the end of the half or is that the tush push they failed on. I don't know which one David is referring to. I'm okay with both. I think you got to be aggressive in these moments when you got it all on the line.
Yeah. The only thing is that on that first tush push is that yard was like 3 yards.
It was an incorrect yard.
And then on top of that, you got a guy in there for his first snap and Cameron Hayward doing the tush push, and evidently he didn't do it right and pissed his brother off. His brother said something like to the effect that he tackled me or hit me on the side. Here's a good thing. They won, and Cameron Hayward got experience with the tush push. Either way, I'm okay with going for it in that situation. I might have tried something else other than the tush push on that first one, on that long yard, if you will. But if we're talking about the 4th down to close out the end of the first half, yeah, I'm fine with it. Just they ended up, the play that they ended up going with wasn't executed perfectly, and you got Gainwell out there, and you didn't get the kind of matchup that you thought probably at the snap or when you thought, or the defense maybe that you thought you're going to see within that. But I'm fine with it either way, because you knew that you were going to get the ball first in the second half. Now, if had you not deferred and had Baltimore been on tap to get the ball first in the second half, then I would have kicked a field goal right there.
Yeah, I think the aggression is fine in principle. Can I just say, for the question before about Tomlin future, the specuporting about TV, I think it's really unfair that Pittsburgh wins the division, they're going to the playoffs, and you're hearing still this talk about Tomlin's future. There's plenty of time to talk about Tomlin's future once Pittsburgh's season ends. Just give them some respect, I think, to focus on the games they have to play instead of Tomlin's future. I think that's just, first of all, the reporting is just kind of speculation. It's not really going anywhere. It's not really informative or meaningful or impactful and really newsworthy. But I think also for a team that's now in the playoffs, to talk about, what's that coach going to do, just a little unfair.
All right, did you read the one from Papa Trucker there? The $10 the super chat.
Yeah,
what a game! All right, thanks for that, Papa. Hope you stay safe out there on the road.
There's a question from Infinity that says, would it be a mistake to let Kenneth Gainwell walk, creating a path for Caleb Johnson? You got to re-sign that guy. I mean, I know it's tricky with Caleb and what's his future, and if he's third string, second straight year, what does that mean? But you can't. If Rodgers is back, especially for the quick pass game, Gainwell's got to come back too.
Aaron Rodgers might want confirmation that Gainwell's, and he might want confirmation that Calvin Austin's coming back too, because he talks so glowingly about Calvin Austin and Kenneth Gainwell. He really likes those two guys there. So if Aaron Rodgers comes back, he might say, "Look, I'm not coming back unless you re-sign those two." So yeah, I think overall, just you got to find a way to get Gainwell back.
What is Calvin Austin's fate? A pending free agent, the market's going to be. It's kind of been a very up and down year, but some big clutch plays, a lot of quiet moments too. What is his future?
I don't think his market's going to be as shiny as some Steeler fans think it might be. Now, he did have obviously a good game, had 3 very impactful catches in this game, and that was good to see, but he's not he has made combative catches before, but it's not what he does. He's a guy out in space. Now, if he could find himself, but here's the thing. He's more of a kind of a guy that fit in good with like the Chiefs, but they already got a couple of those guys over there in that. I think they'll be able to work something out with him. I don't think his market's going to be very robust.
It's not going to be huge. I just wonder if Pittsburgh will want him back or want to explore their options. You talk about, let's go target a good route runner or somebody else. I agree. And so if you bring in somebody from the outside, even a mid-level veteran, then is Austin going to come back as a number 3, which in this offense, if Arthur Smith is DOC, is
right.
not exactly a high value position. So
Yeah, but is Calvin Austin a number 2 somewhere else though?
But no, probably not. But is he number 3 in a bigger passing game that's going to have 11 personnel based and throw the ball more and get the ball to their receivers a lot more than Pittsburgh does? That's the difference.
In other words, he's going to be looking for something with a lot of 11 personnel in it, right?
Yeah, you could do that as a number 3 and have a slot, even though he can play outside some. But he can have that kind of number 3 role. So we'll see. I don't get a great sense he'll be back, but we'll see. And obviously last night was a good note to go out on for the regular season. Let's hope that continues against a really good Texans secondary. I mean, we talk about the pass rush, and it's great, but their DBs, Lassiter and Stingley, and you got Bullock at safety. Man, that is an exciting young group to contend with.
I tell you what, like I said, Aaron Rodgers certainly does like him.
No, he likes him as a human being, and good kid, and he's made some big plays. I don't know if he loves him as a receiver. I think they've had some scramble drill issues. We'll see. It's an interesting talking point. All right, time for a couple more questions. What else? Is Roman Wilson a bust, or do you still have hope he can be a 2 or a 3? That's from David. Dave, what do you think?
I tell you what, you got Scotty Miller getting a helmet over him right now. And look, I understand Scotty Miller, backup punt returner, blah, blah, blah. This is not what you want to hear late in the second season, even though his first season was wiped out by injury. These are not the kind of things that you want to hear about a 3rd round draft pick at this point. Now, Caleb Johnson's a different story because the guy's in front of him, and because usually they like those backs with his build to kind of get a little bit thicker in that first year and all like that. But he's got 2 guys, very capable guys ahead of him as well too. It's just hard for Caleb Johnson to get any carries when you got 2 guys as experienced as Warren and Gainwell there. And obviously, Caleb's a rookie too. But a guy in Roman Wilson, it's not great, Bob. You kind of thought, and look, I didn't go into this season thinking it was going to be huge production from Roman Wilson, but I also, in the same breath, wouldn't have thought that he would have had as few of offensive snaps that he's had this year, and has been a healthy scratch as many times. If you would have told me he was going to be fully healthy.
Yeah, it's not a great sign. If honestly Roman Wilson wants some history to look towards, a path to replicate, it's his teammate, Calvin Austin, who lost his rookie year to a foot injury. Second year had that 1 catch against the Raiders, and then was barely used the rest of the season. It was obviously the Matt Canada offensive disaster, and then still had a career and has still made some plays. And so that's kind of the track Wilson will have to take. But, I think he's put on some good tape this year. There's been some missed chances his way, some bad balls, the Bears game in particular. So I still see the talent, but you wonder what will be Pittsburgh's faith in him to have a role next year.
All right, Micah Desso says, does Harbaugh deserve criticism for running the clock down end of game with timeouts still and not trying to get more yards? Yeah, that's a good question. In real time there, I thought it felt like it was going to be a shorter field goal than what it was. Mm-hmm. But within that, and what we kind of talked about just earlier in this live stream alone, that guy has been money inside 50 yards. So, and it was a nice kind of clear night. There wasn't a lot of wind last night. The field was seemingly in good shape and all. And the less snaps that you have to take and run the risk of, I would have done the same thing that Harbaugh had done in that situation, to try to get it down to one final kick, even though it's a rookie. But he'd been money inside of 50 yard, inside of 50. So once again, I think if you put that kid out there for 50 kicks, I bet he makes 48 of them. And that just happened to be one of the ones that he missed. So I don't think I don't have an issue the way Harbaugh handled that.
Same. How many timeouts were left before they centered the ball up? Did they have 1 or 2 left?
Hold on here. Let me pull up the game book real quick.
They had 3 to start the drive. They used one after the likely catch.
They used their third timeout after Jackson's last kneel.
Okay, so they had one timeout left, so you could have run the ball once, which would have risked not being able to center the ball. What's more important there, probably centering it. Can you do one more thing for me, Dave? How far was Loop's other field goals? I think he had one or two in that game. I think he had one.
Last night?
Yeah. To make it 10, was it 10-0? What was the distance of that kick?
He had 40 was his first one.
Did he have another?
No, that was it.
So he already made one from 40. So you're thinking he made it from 40, 44. You trust him to make it. Mm-hmm. I think Harbaugh, in hindsight, always criticism after a loss like that. I think he made an inoffensive decision.
Right. Let me look up just to make sure what his stats were for the season from 40. Let's see, Loop. Where is it here? He was 8 for 8 on. Yeah, he had not missed under 50. Period.
Yeah, and that was the first one. It is some divine intervention, Dave.
That would be, let's see, he had 10, 11, that's 21, and 8. He was 29 for 29 under 50 yards ahead of that kick.
Wow. What was, not that it matters, what was Tucker from inside 50 last year? I know it was a tough year for Tucker, putting all the off-the-field stuff aside, which we won't get into here. I think he struggled a lot from 50+. What was he from inside 50?
Last year, 2024,
yep.
He was 5. Okay, well, let's see. He was perfect from 20 to 29. He was perfect 30 to 39. He was 5 of 8, 40 to 49. Okay,
I just wasn't sure if he was perfect from that range, and that had been how long since Baltimore missed a kick from there. But anyway, doesn't matter too much. He missed a kick, and we're all happy. $5 super chat from Superstar SS4 says, when Herbig failed to bring Jackson down on 3rd and 7, I was convinced that was their version of Big Ben shaking off Suggs. Yeah, there's some parallels there, and I was so mad that Herbig just couldn't wrestle him down, and Jackson got to throw that one away, because that would have made it, instead of 4th and 7, would have been 4th and 15+, and that might have been game right there.
Yep, you're right.
All right, any other questions, Dave? Anything else you can think of?
Let's see. Think Cam Hayward will run a pass route from the Spartan formation by Steelers by the lake. Yeah, I don't think we have to worry about that. I am interested to see if maybe they have come up with at least one more maybe wrinkle off of the Spartan.
It would have to be a pass, because they basically exhausted every run option. They've done to game mode, they've done options. It's kind of, could you pitch it back to Rodgers and do something off of that? I guess is kind of the next thought.
Yeah, I don't know if I want crazy legs Rodgers. I don't think I want to go that route.
He'd be throwing it. He wouldn't be running it. You pitch it back and then throw it to somebody else.
I suppose. Look, we're on a game-by-game situation here right now, but it would be interesting to see if they come up with some other wrinkle off of this somehow. But I don't. I've been wrong on things in the past. I don't think we're going to see. He said, will Cam Hayward run a route? No, I don't even think we'll see Cam Hayward run a route. I don't think I want Cam Hayward running a route.
He had 2 offensive snaps in 2020. Was that the Giants game? When was he used on offense before? What was he doing?
Who, Cam?
Yeah, he did. He had 2 in 2020. Was he running any routes then? I don't know. We can look at it later.
In 2020, hold on a minute.
Here, he had 2. I was looking it up last night. He had 2 offensive snaps. I couldn't remember when. Kept thinking of the Giants game with his interception, but that was on defense, obviously.
Give me just a minute here, and I'll find it.
While you do that, somebody asked Zachary Schaefer, why was Asante Samuel Jr. on the field over James Pierre on the second touchdown of the Flowers? They've been rotating those guys throughout the game. Pierre's first game back in several weeks, and so I think they were trying to manage reps and conditioning, and Samuel had played some decent ball too, so that was a natural rotation throughout the game.
You said 2020?
I believe so. I was like 4 a.m. last night, so I might have been a mirage of sorts, but I looked at PFR.
I'm not seeing anything in 2020 on PFF. Could it have been 2021? No.
Hold on. Maybe I'm going crazy. Maybe I'm losing my mind. Let me check. I thought I saw 2 snaps listed, but I will look.
I'm not seeing anything in the PFF listings.
I got PFR in 2020 showing 2 offensive snaps.
I did. Well, you know what? They was one a fake on a Boswell against Cleveland. Could that have been termed offensive at that point?
That should be a special team snap. Let me check. I know this is super compelling information. I got 1 against the Eagles and 1 against the Ravens. Funny enough. Don't know. Was that victory formation? It could be victory formation. They won both those games.
Yeah, but they would show that in PFF under offense.
Yeah. I don't know. That's what I just... Maybe PFR is wrong. I don't know their source on snap counts, but that's what they're showing.
All right.
Any other questions here? Let's see. 26-24 stat of the weird. I got a couple things on there. You can check out the article. Nothing super, super weird, but just how close these Steelers-Ravens games are. 45% of the regular season games have been decided by 3 points or fewer, including last night. So that is just kind of shows how close this rivalry really is.
Frat boy fishing. We'll close with this one right here and get Alex out of here. He says he's heard it mentioned that there's a perception of Jalen Ramsey's play doesn't match his game film. We talked about it earlier in the show. Jalen Ramsey's safety play lately has kind of declined, and look, that who would have thought that pass would have got completed likely in that situation with Jalen Ramsey in that in the position that he was in? Then obviously got blown by on that long. They're going to have to take a long look at their safety situation going into the offseason because Jalen Ramsey also is not cheap next year.
Do you think they're going to cut? I don't think they're going to cut Ramsey.
Yeah, let's see. It is $17.5 million base salary, and he's got that prorated option bonus and all that. I mean, that's they're going to have to look at it. I'll say this: he's coming to the end of the line. I think even as a safety.
I mean, I think he can't run like he used to. It's pretty clear, and that's why he...
I don't know. He damn sure did come from that other side of the field. Now, he did have the angle on Derrick Henry on that opener run, but he did come from the other side.
Yeah.
Go back and look at that. Now, he definitely had the angle type situation, but he was moving pretty decent there.
I've seen him in coverage.
Straight line.
Laboring, and the Tez Walker, I know he kind of lost him with his eyes, expecting something short, but he can't run it, and so... Probably going to safety helped him in a lot of ways, but I also want to give grace. He made a mid-season change to safety. This dude's never played safety. I mean, he played safety at Florida State, but he really never played like true safety since his freshman year of college. And so, how about we give this guy an offseason to kind of learn the position? He's doing this all on the fly here, all post bye week too, I think too. So I'm in like a week off to kind of take a breath and inventory. So I'd like to see that. The contract's big, no question, but I think he's back for 26, and you get Elliott back too, and there's your safeties.
Yes or no? I mean, have you been a little bit underwhelmed by his overall play at safety the last several weeks?
It was really bad against the Ravens. It was his worst game. Other than that, I've not really been underwhelmed. You like a little more splash, but again, I think this guy's done a good job communicating. I think he's certainly been an impactful hitter over the middle. You saw Zay Flowers make that business decision. So, no, I've not. Have I been underwhelmed by him overall? He's supposed to be this lockdown corner. He is not that. He was not that. And so that in itself was disappointing. But I think as a safety, he's been a calming influence. He's brought a lot of value and has kind of found a home there. And again, he's doing this on the fly, which is not easy to do. So I can appreciate him making a midseason switch.
And, one thing I pointed out when we thought he was going to be obviously used more, corner or slot when he was signed there, the big bugaboo on him his entire career is, he's never had those huge years of interceptions. His career high still in any single season is 4, and he's done that 3 different times. He obviously only has 1 this year, and it was a good one, but he's just not a guy that ends up with the ball in his hands a lot.
Yeah. The other thing, too, is he's also been bouncing back and forth between slot corner and safety this year. The Browns game, he had to come back down because Eccles was out. So this guy's not been able to, sit in a spot always, too. So I don't know. I mean,
well, the thing too is if you don't have him, who do you have?
Yeah.
You got to go out and get somebody on top of it, and who you going, it is kind of hard to envision him getting cut as we sit here right now.
Yeah, I think he's back for 26. That may be the final year. We'll see, but I think he's back for next year.
That now they might, safety could be obviously a position that they address in this draft to kind of groom.
Yeah, you probably want to look for some depth because depth is not good. Chuck Clark and Peppers and Castro and Killebrew. Duggar, yeah, and he's a free agent to be, and I don't have much interest in re-signing Kyle Duggar. I don't know about you, Dave, but I'm not really there. So I think you probably go ahead and draft, start looking towards the future, and also maybe you could run some dime packages next year, which you did not run a single snap of dime this season. So yeah, draft, but I think Ramsey is back. Let's go a couple more just quickly because I appreciate everybody being here and putting up with me. Who would you like as DC? Says Jason Williams. Let's enjoy this playoff game, man. I want to just enjoy where this team is at. I know someone speculated Raheem Morris. I don't know if that's going to happen. I know him and Tomlin are tight, but let's just get through the season.
And Raheem's supposed to interview somewhere. I thought I saw
Tennessee head coach position there. I don't know if he'll get it. He's a 3-time head coach. It's not a great track record. But the coaching pool is bad, so that's why I think you're seeing some of these names come up because it is it is a really bad year to need a head coach, and all the more reason why Pittsburgh may opt to keep Mike Tomlin. Did you see J.J. Watt's tweet about Cam being on field goal team? Pretty cool. I did. So I guess I've become numb to it because he's been on field goal protect team forever now, so it's just kind of like you assume that. But yeah, I mean he's doing all that dirty work still. And then Tim says after a night game like that, what time did you and Alex get to sleep and then wake up? Dave slept about 20 minutes, so the answer is just no, right?
I slept 20 minutes, about 40 minutes before we got on. So that's all I've had, and I woke up, let's see, all my days are running. I woke up Sunday morning at 4:45 a.m. my time.
And I was up Sunday at 7 a.m. to start the Sunday shift, and then went to bed. I went to sleep around 4:30 last night and got up around 9. So I got a lot of sleep.
That's why today's podcast probably sounded like a couple of drunk guys.
I thought it sounded pretty good. I listened back. I listened to the front half. The second half may be rougher. But I'm going to get out of here so I can stop coughing into all your ears. So thank you guys so much for being here. Appreciate all the questions. I know we missed a couple. We got to as many as we could. Dave, thank you for running the show here as always, so appreciate it.
I didn't run it. You ran it. I just kind of pitch in a couple of times there, but pray for Alex's voice to get back by Wednesday here. And as Alex says, hit like and subscribe and all those fancy things that the kids tell you to do on the YouTube channel here. And Alex and I'll be back on a Wednesday version of the Terrible Podcast. And before I let him wrap it up, thank you for everybody that tuned in tonight. Thank you for all the super chats and all. A lot of great questions tonight. And peace and love, everybody.
And last thing, Interview Q says, has Steelers Depot done a report on Emmanuel McNeil? We've not done any scouting reports yet. We will not until the season is over, and then we'll get after it. So no draft content quite yet.
It's coming, though.
It is. We're gearing up. All right. Appreciate you guys. Please like, subscribe, check out the site, SteelersDepot.com. Thank you again, and we'll talk to you soon.